Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So today we are on another player's account. He is called George Abitbol, aka Abitbol. So today we are going to take a look at Fafnir 10 and how to improve his Fafnir 10 team. So as you can see at the top, you can see his team that he's running with right now. Gabrielle, Tang Xuan, Tang Yun, Clara, Berenice. This is okay. This is fine, okay? This is fine. I wouldn't necessarily want to use Tang Xuan. I'm not a big Tang Xuan hater, okay? I do not hate him. I just feel like he's not that useful. He doesn't really have multi-hits per se for like the shield breaking. Okay, so yes, his skill 1 can multi-hit multiple times, right? Hit 3 times. But the thing is, it hits randomly, so you're not always going to get it on the boss. So that's one thing to reconsider. Tang Yun is great. Clara is very good. I think Clara is an amazing choice. Berenice is very good, excellent. Gabrielle is not bad. So let's take a look at how we can improve on this lineup. But before we do so, we want to take a look at his team. And obviously, I think I'm just gonna like skip a little bit here and there so that we don't waste too much time and just see how he performs before we figure out a way to improve on his lineup. So here we go, Fafnir 10. Let's see what he got. Okay, so his timer is 550 and that's his fastest time, which is super freaking slow, and it's a timing that I would highly suggest you to not even focus on it and instead go back to like a pep, go back to Chronos, all that kind of stuff, build your relics a little bit. But let's try to, you know, shave off a little bit of time on his timer, which I think is very possible. I can guarantee you that if I replace his Tang Xuan with anything else, be it like a Zelma, a Lin, or even optimally a Lui, you're gonna do it so much faster. So let's take a look. Your first wave is not bad, you're clearing it pretty consistently. The defense break from Gabrielle, I believe that came from her, not the Tang Xuan, because like I said, Tang Xuan is extremely random. You cannot actually guarantee like the debuffs that you need, so there is also that. So he's actually taking a lot of time. Oh wow, that's a huge heal on a Clara. I wonder why it's a HP, dude. He's taking a lot of time to get rid of the first 2 waves, which is in my opinion the first place that, you know, you can definitely speed things up a little bit. You do not want to be wasting so much time on the first 2 waves. As long as you are wasting time like that, unfortunately the only fix is probably to, you know, change up your team a little bit, get some stats and all that. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, your Tang Yun is 5 stars. You can definitely push into 6 stars. That's obviously one of the ways that you can improve on this. Alright, so after like literally 1 minute, about 1 minute, we are approaching Fafnir himself. So let's see how we perform now. I am not super excited about this. I feel like we're gonna be sitting here for a long time. Okay, that's decent debuffs, which is all gonna disappear because, yeah. So the thing is, if you're gonna bring debuffs to this lineup and you expect debuffs to be like your go-to factor, chances are you need to bring strips. Okay, so some good strippers for Fafnir. Right off the top of my head, of course, first one is going to be Height. I think Height is a perfect stripper. Second is going to be Tricky. Tricky is an amazing he's an amazing pole dancer for Fafnir. And I think Lin has buff removal as well. I cannot guarantee it. I think she has, if I remember correctly. I don't use her all that much, but I'm pretty sure she has a buff removal as well. So these are 3 espers that you can choose to bring, if you do have them of course, that can be very powerful for Fafnir. And obviously the new esper Ahmed, I believe I named him wrongly previously, he is going to be great here as well in terms of healing. Okay, so he's going to be a better replacement than Clara in my opinion, because, you know, yeah, like in that situation, right, Ahmed would just heal him up like crazy and give him a lot of attack buffs, or rather, you know, heal the Tang Xuan if you do not know who I'm talking about. And you can also remove all that HP cap. But the thing is, the HP cap, it only happens if he uses his Ice Field Abyss or something like that. Okay, so I talked too much and I did not actually observe whether he was capable of removing the shields properly, but because his espers are all alive, I assume that's the case. But we are still going to test whether he's able to remove the shield very regularly. So that's the most important thing in my opinion. Okay, so as long as you can remove the shields regularly and you have like a little bit of heal, or like maybe even Berenice shield buff, that's good enough, right? Her shield and her heals, that's going to be good enough. As long as you can get rid of the shields, you are completely fine. It's just going to take a longer time, but that means that you just need to work on your relics, work on your DPS and all that. Should be fine, right? Skill ups and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so now we have the 12 turn shield over here. Let's see how long, or like, are we even able to get rid of it effectively, right? Oh no, we are screwed, right? Look at the bottom, we are screwed. Yeah, okay, so there is a huge issue here, which I believe is related to your speed. I'm going to suspect that your speeds are actually not very good. We're going to take a look at your espers again in just a moment. But that's my suspicion. So ideally, the kind of speed that you want for Fafnir 10 is going to be somewhere around 200 minimally. Now, the reason why 200 is like the golden number is I believe Fafnir has about 100 speed. He has somewhere around 100 or maybe less, slightly less. So you want to be able to let him in order for you to break shields more often and all that, especially if you're running Espers like Clara, who uses her third skill, which does not deal any damage and therefore does not remove any of the shield stacks. You need her to be super fast to, move more than once. So that's something that you can consider. Same goes for Berenice as well. If she uses her third skill, she's not going to attack at all, so she's not going to remove the shield, so she has to be super fast. Okay, and that's it. I believe should be around 6 minutes, man. It was a long time of me just sitting down here. Let's see. Oh wow, 2 6-star relics. 6 minutes 40 seconds, dude. We gotta change it up a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at his Espers and what's wrong with it, right? So your Tang Xuan has a pretty okay speed, 141. I think that's fine. It's okay for a DPS Esper. Okay. Now for your Clara, a little bit too slow. Okay, she's on Ocean Waves, no wonder. Okay, so if you're going to use Clara for Fafnir, you might want to use her with Windwalker so that she moves more often. Okay, so the reason why you want to use Ocean Waves is because you want to proc your third skill a little bit more frequently. But the thing is, for Fafnir, if you prioritize proccing your third skill more, chances are you're not going to be able to break the shield, so that's a problem using Ocean Waves in Fafnir. And then now your Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel is doing fine. That's pretty okay speed. Actually, you know what? You do have a Sender, right? We could definitely use Sender. And you have a Hide as well, dude. Hide is super good for Fafnir. And your Tang Yun has 140 speed. Is this a speed relic? This is a speed relic. Okay, you can increase his speed a little bit more as well. And finally, your Berenice. Okay, so definitely need to improve the speed on your Berenice. Oh my gosh, +9 speed over here. Yeah, so this is obviously one of the ways that you can improve on your runs a little bit more, right? Just make them a little bit faster so that you break the shields more and deal a little bit more consistent DPS at the same time. Also, I just noticed that you have a Louis here, so we can definitely use him, dude. He is such a strong option for Fafnir as well. He is really good at breaking shields because his attacks on average breaks about 3 shields per hit. So you can build him like, a little bit faster so that he hits a little bit more often and therefore you can reliably get rid of the shields. Okay, so I'm going to play around with his relics a little bit. We don't have a lot of gold to work with, only 2.6 million, which is basically nothing. So we can probably get about a few of his relics up to +12 and that's about it. We are royally screwed on his relics. We have no more gold left to work with. So I'm just going to show you guys what we have right now. Now, I also realized that your Berenice is actually not maxed on her third skill. This is very important to max because you actually need her to upkeep her shield buff a little bit more often, okay? That's actually quite important. So hopefully you have some rare ability mons for me to use. Okay, you do have it. Okay, so now we are fully skilled up. This should be a little bit more defense breaks and all that for general content, okay? And then this shield buff, this can be quite useful as well for Fafnir to have a little bit more reliable buffing. Okay, so let's take a look at F10 again and see how we perform. Okay, do take note that we are slightly on the lower end of stats because we are running quite a few 5-star Espers. So like for example, Louis only has about 15,000 HP. As for Tang Yun, he has also about 15,000 HP, and Berenice has okay, Berenice is pretty decent because she's a support Esper after all. And here are the stats of our Clara. And finally, we are going to be using Sender because of his leader buff, which increases the speed of allies by 25%. So that's going to make up for the difference in terms of like whatever shortage of speed that you have. So without further ado, let's take a look at how this works. I am not actually very confident that this would work because of how fragile our team is. We have generally very low HP and probably not as much heals as I would prefer. I feel like, Clara needs to be a lot faster to upkeep her support and just to upkeep all her normal attacks as well. And Berenice, I feel like she also needs to be a lot faster so that she can proc more hits, break more shields, and drop her third skill a little bit more frequently, which is very important in ensuring that your slower DPS Esper survive. But so far so good, we are breezing through the first 2 waves rather quickly. And it seems like we got this, right? It seems like we are managing it pretty well. Although wow, that's a lot of damage, dude. That would have taken out our Tang Yun if not for the fact that he was alone, right? Okay, now moving on to Fafnir himself. Let's see. I'm actually very curious to know like how well we take his hits, especially his AoE attacks, right? Like for example, Dragon Breath and all that. Is it Dragon Breath? Yeah, it's Dragon Breath. Well, fingers crossed, I hope this works. Okay, let's see how much damage we receive. 6,000, that's fine. Our shield is enough. That's why I say Berenice requires the shield a little bit up more regularly. So that's fine. Okay, now Louis is going to be frozen. And we are going to get slowed and stunned and all that good stuff, right? That's potentially very dangerous for us and our runtime. That's why we need a lot more speed. Okay, so now we have 6 more shields left. 5, 3. Okay, so that was not enough as well. That's gonna be painful. So there is definitely a speed issue on your team. So not even with Sender is it going to be enough. Yeah, I just feel like, it's basically a support, and if I were you, I would remove Ocean Waves on Clara just because Ocean Waves is not going to be very good for her. Like I said, over here, you need her first skill up more regularly than her third skill. Her third skill practically doesn't do much for this fight in my opinion. Okay, another swap that we can do is to remove Clara and put Gabrielle inside. I think Gabrielle with the defense buff and the immunity buff can be a little bit just slightly more like nichely effective against Fafnir. We have to be lucky that the immunity drops at the right time as well, so there is that to consider. And if all else fails, I don't really want to get rid of Sander. I really prefer his speed lead. I feel like his speed lead is very good in like just increasing the amount of damage that you can do, increasing the amount of heals that you receive, increasing all the buffs that you have, right? The uptime of buffs. So I do feel like Sander has a lot of value here, regardless of his typing. Now the thing is, if you want to use Sander for this fight, you can actually run him with Ocean Waves so that he can proc his third skill a little bit more frequently. That could be one way to, you know, increase the amount of shield breaking ability that he has. So I don't think we're going to do a lot better this time around. Yeah, not going to lie, even with the defensive buffs, I don't think this is it. I feel like you need a lot more stats, right? So you need a lot more like HP based on just starring up your Esper to 6 stars. You need a little bit more defense as well. You need more speed. You need more attack power. Everything of which you lack. So like I said before, Fafnir is an extremely difficult content in my opinion. You need a lot of stats to achieve like very consistent runs. We are still not able to do it, right? Yeah, we are still not able to do it. I guess this is just a speed thing, right? At this point of time, it is basically just a speed thing. But okay, we are performing a little bit better this time around. We actually managed to push into the second shield left. Or rather, we managed to push him down to his second HP bar. It's a big improvement in my opinion. So what I would suggest for you right now is to definitely just work on your stats, right? Just raise your specific Esper up to 6 stars. That is the first thing that you really need to do. So based on the Espers that I've recommended over here, they are going to be excellent choices. Obviously, you can use Hyde if you want to, but he's going to need a whole ton of investment that I don't think you're able to achieve right now. Okay, so maybe to show you guys a little bit more about why I say this team really works, this is obviously my own team, right? So I'm running with a Sander with a lot more speed. Okay, so he has plus 117, so that's very important. I have Tang Yun here with decent speed, plus 53. So that is something for you to consider as well. My Louis is rather slow. Okay, I know he is very slow, but the thing is he's here because he does a lot of damage for me. And then my Baroness, she also has a lot more speed, so above 200 speed, like I said before. Your supports ideally above 200 speeds. And Clara finally with more than 200 speed. I know I'm also running her with Ocean Waves, but the thing is she is a lot faster than your Clara is, which is why she is a little bit more reliable. Okay, so let's take a look at how this works. And this is my 3-minute team, right? But you know, it's a little bit of RNG as well. It may be 3 minutes, it could also go up to 4 minutes sometimes, depending on how unlucky I am. But as you can see, this team should work because the damage is incredible and we are able to blow through the first 2 waves, which is like what I said before, that should be your main focus at the start. Your main focus should be to make sure that your early waves go down super fast so that, you know, that's how you chop off the timer a little bit more efficiently, right? Instead of like working on the boss stage, which is where, you know, things are slightly more inconsistent, so to speak. Okay, so we are at Fafnir right now. But yeah, okay, my Louis is now frozen. We should still be okay. Let's see how well we break the shields with the speed that we have, right? So we are using like supporting skills, which is not going to break the shield, but Baroness is super fast. So if we take a look at the turn order at the bottom, you see that she takes her turn again very fast, right? So yeah, there you go, the shield is already down. And you know what, maybe Avatara could slow down your run slightly because the follower on the left is actually going to like attack you a little bit, which might trigger you to counter attack, which can eat up a little bit of time sometimes. So there is something like that to consider. Honestly, Fafnir is a really strong stat check. So the main thing over here is that it's checking your speed, it's also checking your sustainability, it's checking your ability to keep yourselves alive. So you're juggling a lot of these things, which makes it so difficult because you need to be fast, yet at the same time, you need to be able to have enough sustainability so that you don't die, and at the same time, you need to do enough damage so that you take him out as fast as possible. Generally, you don't want to like take your time and all that because the runs are already so freaking long, right? So yeah, so far so good. We have not lost any Esper. Sometimes my Sander will die because of his typing, but generally that's not a problem because even if he dies, we still have the 25% speed lead, which is gonna help us tremendously in our runtime. So that's about it. We definitely won this, even if he sniped my Sander right here, right? Even if he failed to break the shield, which we won't fail to break the shield, we will still beat this without any issues, man. Because Louis, Tang Yun, excellent DPS choices for Fafnir. Yep, GG, Tang Yun got the last hit. So that's it. let's see how long we took. Okay, pretty decent. We actually got our fastest timing right now, 3 minutes 7 seconds. So there you go. This team works really well. Just boost your speed by that little bit, right? Like 20, 30 more speed and you're a-okay. That should work tremendously. So just continue farming your other ritual miracles, right? So you are doing pretty well on Chronos, so just keep it up. Farm more Windwalker relics so that you know your stats can be a little bit boosted that way. And if you need to, farm more Apep as well. Get all those Avatara relics, because the moment you break one of his HP bars, he's gonna attack you and you need to use that opportunity to counter attack so that you break his shield immediately. So that's one way that you can speed up, you know, the efficacy of your runs as well. That's very important. That's one thing that we are missing over here, right? So just Avatara counter procs and all that. So I guess that's it for this video. Unfortunately, we are not able to find a team that he can effectively use right now, but that's also because his relics are just not good enough. But hopefully you guys still found value in this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now, this has been Daddy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.